All right, the next item is number 9, an application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Manhattan, docket number 15-5159, block 1233, lot 58, 272 to 276 West 86th Street in the Riverside-West End Historic District, Extension 1. 3 Renaissance Revival-style row houses designed by C.P.H. Gilbert and built in 1895 to 96. The application is to amend previous approvals for the construction of rear yard and rooftop additions, zoned R10A, and this was initially heard at the public hearing of October 1st, 2013, and then again December 10th, 2013.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Tenzing Chalatan, Preservation Staff. The application before you at 272 to 276 West 82nd Street was approved for a rooftop addition, rooftop additions on each of these buildings as well as rear yard additions. The application is seeking an amendment to the previous approval, which includes the removal of the party wall in between these buildings. Presenting this application is Rick Azar, and he will be followed by the architect, Mr. Chair.
Hearing open, please. Motion second. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Rick Azar for Eastwood Partners, the developers of the 3 contiguous row houses at 272, 274, 276 West 86th Street. Here with me today is Eastwood Partners Managing Member Joseph Cohen and architect Leo Chu. On December 10th, 2013, the Commission voted to approve work as put forward in our August 29th application, subject to staff approval of details related to the rear yard and rooftop additions, the submitted details of which LPC staff has accepted. Independent of those details, the developers newly proposed revisions to the previously approved interior layout that would include the removal of the party walls. This proposal is now brought due to successful completion of negotiations with long-term tenants that will allow all 3 buildings to become fully vacant this year. The revisions are further encouraged by recent LBC approval of a similar scope of work at 176, 182 West 82nd Street. Here we have the front of the buildings. Here at, I'm sorry, let me just go a little more here. This is the demising wall, or the party wall, I should say, here, between 274 and 276 West 86th Street. Now, what's proposed is the removal of the party wall, but the partitions delineating that will be put back on the cellar, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor. Only on the 5th floor will the partition wall here move from this side of the window to this side of the window. And that's proposed at the party wall from 274 to 276. Here we have the party wall at 274 to 276. And this is right at the meeting point of these 2 bows here. And in this particular case, the party wall will be removed throughout the building all the way up. Now, in this particular case, we understand that there is a certain amount of delineation, expression of the interior walls that would like to be maintained here. This is a floor plan for the cellar, but it is indicative of the way the buildings are divided currently. Now, this is the 1st floor plan, and here we can show what the proposed is. Here, obviously, we've got the partitions back in place at 272 to 274, but here at 274 to 276, the wall has been removed that allows for a larger living area. Now, coming down the street, going east to west or west to east, if we take a look at the photographs, bring these back here, if we're able to see past the windows, what we'll see in the inside of the bow is the mirror window. Past that window going into the building is 2 feet 3 inches of expressed wall. That will stay. Right past that area will be placed.
What's expressed
Where's the
wall?
2 feet, whatever?
I'm showing you right here. This area right here, if we're coming down the street and you look in this window, if you're even able to see inside, we will see a portion of wall from here to here. That's 2 feet 3 inches. Once the structural column is added to this area and enclosed, This area that would be visible under certain conditions would extend itself to 3 feet. So that is what we would see at the 274, 276 previous party wall location. Again, we can see the same here at the second floor. Here is the partition put back at 272 to 274. Again, open at 274 to 276. Third floor, fourth floor. And here we can see at the fifth floor how the partition has been moved from this side at 272 to the other side of this window here. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
We only regulate 18 inches back. Are there any? What about the 18-inch regulation? 18 inches back is not the same issue here. That's with
No, it's
respect to
not.
signage and.
Yeah, when there is substantial removal of party walls, I think we also saw this recently in Times Square, where floors were being removed, and it is the belief of the staff that would be visible from the outside. It does come before the commission. If the applicant left the first 8 feet of the party walls in place, then the removal of the party wall behind that point actually could be approved by the staff. But because they want to remove the entire party wall, that's why it's before you.
That's a rule, yeah, so anything under 8 comes here.
It's actually not a rule, it's a practice of the commission.
Practice.
Yeah.
Even better.
So how visible is it
Both
from the
ways.
street? How, do you have something that demonstrates?
Yes. We took several photos. Let me show you the photos at the top of the presentation. No, and this is the full facade all the way
Right,
across.
but that doesn't show, that doesn't.
No, it
answer the
doesn't.
question.
But if we take a look at these angles here, at this west-east axis here, coming down the street, we would probably be able to discern it under the right conditions again, through these windows. That's where that expression would have to be. Here are close-ups of these areas, and this is with lights on inside. We really couldn't make out the walls beyond here. Our contention is that if you were, under the proper conditions, able to see into these areas from the street, you would see almost a 3-foot section of the wall heading back into the building.
How did you get that other foot? I know how you said you left 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So, but where did you add?
Let me show you. Right here. From here to here, we know, yes, but with the enclosure of the column, it's going to add enough to make it 3 feet. See? We don't want anything to affect the structural integrity of the facade. So these columns are being placed here, behind here, to support the structural work.
Is it a load bearing wall?
Yes, the party walls are
So that's
very well.
replacing, and will you put beams up above?
That's correct.
Transfer
Did
the
you
load?
That's
test the visibility at night with lights on inside the building?
We did-
Which is, I
we
think,
did not do
Most
that.
of us are looking in windows.
Yeah, unless With- they happen to have. With telescopes.
No future.
Why they have like a fort?
All right, okay.
So you're just saying
Okay.
that column is spurred out and
Do it.
so it's different from the way it's shown there, right?
Right, once it's furred out, that discernible wall area would be closer to 3 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
I know you're questioning this, but it was a particularly big discussion during the Whitney row houses, when there was going to be the extension of the museum into those row houses space, and the commissioners were very concerned about being able to read them as individual buildings, and the initial design was to remove all of the party walls, and you did require that 8 feet of the party walls
Okay.
be maintained. So this is how this policy has been developed.
And I
Okay.
would just like to point out something about the Whitney.
Yes.
Has anybody been there recently? Talk about facades.
I have,
You, okay.
since I'm the architect.
Oh, okay, but talk about facadism. I mean, it's really, they're just facades. There isn't a sign of a party wall. I mean, they're just flying in space. So, yeah.
Those are also flat front buildings.
Okay,
Okay, but
for another day. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion, Michael Goldblum. Thank you.
Well, I think that there should be an appropriate concern about facadism and having the thing just be hollowed out. But I think that in this case, I can find that it's appropriate. I think that we have approved a number of projects similar to the previous one, where townhouses are joined, and that's where there is much greater articulation of the individual house as a unit with a stoop and with a particular symmetry and rhythm. Here, because of the design and because of its very, very express uniformity over and across the party walls, a unified cornice, a unified frieze at the top, a very straightforward symmetry at the base. I mean, to me, it kind of looks like the kind of walk-up you'd see in Boston or in some of the outer boroughs. You see. That's not a phrase I'm supposed to use. In some of the other boroughs, you see it's kind of like these walk-up apartment buildings. I think that I could find this appropriate in this particular case and not having it act as a precedent.
Okay, Fred.
I can find it appropriate too. I mean, half the people have window treatments, you can't see it anyway. So I live in a house very similar to this, actually, in Brooklyn Heights, and so I have a sense of what I see every day in and out of my neighbors' houses, and whether there's a wall back there or not is something you see. I don't get it.
Joan?
Yeah, I could support it also for all the reasons that have been mentioned. And the most convincing one is that there is window treatment on all the windows. It's not, they're not left wide open.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I brought up the Whitney project is because, you know, the reality of so many of the projects that we look at where they're going to be doing a major gut renovation is that they remove everything, and the only thing standing is the facade, one facade, frankly. And so, you know, it's almost like, I hate to say, we're sort of kidding ourselves to think that we preserve sort of depth on these buildings. As soon as you're removing all the floors, there's nothing else, right? And so, but at the same, so, you know, so be it. That's just the nature of construction. And I don't think that this proposal is different than many, many projects that we've approved that have been built, and then once they're up, you don't know that there's no party wall, because really, unless there's a strobe light shining on the wall and it's dark outside and there's no curtains, you would never see this.
I agree. Okay, Roberta?
I guess I also agree that it's not going to be something that you're going to obviously see or easily see, but I do understand, I think, why someone wanted to give the impression that the wall continues even if it doesn't. But I think in this case that knowing how it's going to be used and the fact that they are building out a foot, even though it could be maybe another foot and a half, would be enough for this building. I don't.
Okay. Libby?
Yeah, I can support it. And in this case, it's really because I think this group of buildings reads as a monolith with what appears to be a single cornice and uniform decor all the way across. So I think that even if it is perceivable from the street, it won't be unexpected.
Michael?
Yeah, I think ultimately I can approve this. I would not hope that what we do is depend upon window dressing to form our opinions about these things, and I could only approve it if we don't consider it a precursor and precedent for things to come.
Okay, hearing closed, motion second. Marjorie, please.
In the matter of